Hello and welcome to episode number either 12 or 13. I've completely lost count of where we are of the Alpha Movement podcast. Today I've got a really cool guest. He's a good friend of mine and I'm really looking forward to having him on the show. His name is Ed Willett. Welcome, Ed.
How's it going, man? You alright?
Yes, very good. I've just got back from a run though, so if I sound breathy, just be aware that it's that's making me breathy, not the other type of Skype phone call that you can have. So yeah, why don't we start off with giving a bit of a background about maybe how you got into the fitness industry, and what you do now.
Okay, yeah, cool. I got into the fitness industry. I can't remember now. I think I qualified in 2011. Started off as a personal trainer, just sort of helping people lose weight and everything. Struggled. It was difficult because once you do your qualification, they don't give you any direction on terms of marketing, business, etc. So I had to kind of dig out a few mentors, and I found a mentor in the end that helped me really well, a lot. A guy called Liam. Then I kind of moved on to that, and I kind of sort of wanted to specialise. And I come from sort of like a caring sort of background. My mum and dad are foster carers. I've worked in various sort of care homes, etc. I used to work as an outreach worker for the social services, so I kind of had that caring touch, and I kind of like helping people a bit more. So I sort of specialise now in helping stroke survivors. It was a massive challenge to get into, completely like something I'd never even dreamed of, but. Yeah, really, really great step. I've learned a lot. I've got a lot of respect now from the clients. Even though I've never had a stroke, I get a lot of respect because they're quite surprised that I know so much about it. So yeah, that's what I do now. I kind of just sort of, my niche is sort of stroke survivors now, and
yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I love it, really. Really good.
Good. Like, just as a side note, any personal trainers who are saying that you need to serve a wide range of people in order to make money, that's you've just proved that wrong there. That's like, you've got to have your niche. Just a little side note. What kind of prompted you to get into stroke survivors?
Stroke survivors. Do you know what it was? Was that there was a lady that called me up and she just said, "Look, can you help?" She said, "I'm a stroke survivor." I was like, "Oh my god." But I don't know, I just got a gut feeling and I just thought, no, I'm going to help it, I'm going to go for it. And it just sort of went from there, really, man, and I absolutely love it. And like you were saying on the side note, it's so true to all personal trainers out there, is don't have a broad sort of spectrum of people to train. Find your niche, get an avatar, know your avatar, and then go from there, and that is how you will be successful.
Exactly. Great. What kind of challenges do you have that are unique to helping stroke survivors out?
Yeah, the challenge is I'd say you need to be empathetic, and I know that sounds silly, but you really do need to be empathetic. You need to have a lot of patience, because stroke survivors, remember, they've had a clot in the brain or whatever, and it causes and it triggers their moods up and down. So you've got to be very patient. That's probably the biggest challenge, is patience. You've got to really be on the ball every time you see them. But what happens is, after a while, they get to know you more, and you just sort of relax. And they, you know what I mean, you can just kind of just sort of be yourself in the end. So it's quite nice, really. Okay,
you must see some interesting stories of resilience and mental fortitude going on.
Oh, unbelievable, man. Yeah, I mean, the depression is very high in stroke survivors. So, you know, the excuse my language, but the shit they have to go through is unbelievable. I couldn't do it. But, you know, if I ever did have a stroke, I hope I do get the best treatment. So there is a lot of, you know, the mental barriers are quite extreme, and because also there's not a lot of help out there. There's sod all funding from the government. So most funding now is put into the cancer and heart disease, and none for mental health and strokes. Because mental health is very similar to stroke. You know, stroke survivors do have a lot of mental health issues. So, it's hard for them So you have to get on their level. You must get on their level. And once you get on their level, then you've got their trust.
Yeah, of course. What kind of tools do you use for them, or do you promote to them to kind of to help in their mental state?
Well, obviously, I do a little bit of like sort of rehabilitation on them, on their arms. So they have sort of something called spasticity in their arms, which is where their arm sort of locks up due to like, you know, the problem in the brain. So I give them various sort of techniques that I've learned from other sort of physios as well. I give them a lot of motivation. So one thing that I always do, I say to them, look, if you ever have a down day, send me a text. Literally send me a text, give me a call, and I'm always on the phone for them. So they've always got that 24-hour support. It's it's a great job, but you work a lot of hours. But you know, you've got to do it. You've got to do it at the end. You know what I mean? That's what I've got to do for my business. I've got to be there for them.
Yeah, of course.
Because a lot of the time they're on their own. Because you know they feel like they're a pain on other people because they have to ask for help. So you've got to be that extra support that they haven't got.
And this is the reason I wanted to get you on the show, because I'm guessing the amount of listeners I have who have had a stroke is between 0 and 1. But I wanted to get an idea for people, of the kind of challenges that other people have to go through in order to progress.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm not being biased, but I think stroke survivors are up there with the worst in terms of the mental barriers that they have to face every day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Do you, I know, basically I'm going to push you to, rather than trying to do a smooth segue, I'm going to ask you about mindfulness.
Okay, cool, yeah, fine, man.
Okay, sweet. So, go for it. Explain kind of where your opinions lie on them.
Mindfulness, people think is meditation, but it's not. Mindfulness is about being present in the moment. So when you're working with your clients, focus all your energy on that particular moment with that client. And that is being mindful. That is mindfulness. It's just being. You're just being. You're just being in that present moment. And that's it. And that's what mindfulness is all about. Because remember, our brains are going over and over all the time. We're thinking about stuff, you know, in our subconscious mind. We're storing it in our subconscious mind. So, you know, people who suffer with anxiety and depression, look, you know, the best thing you can do is to be mindful. And the ways to be mindful, you can use sort of various apps. So, yeah, you can do a meditation, but also being mindful when you brush your teeth. Actually, I know it sounds bizarre, but it's so true. When you're brushing your teeth, actually just be brushing your teeth. Think about the taste, think about the smell, think about the texture on your teeth. By doing that, you're being mindful and you're not thinking of anything else. Okay,
so what is the benefit of being mindful?
The benefit of being mindful. I always see mindfulness as an essential. You know, you've got omega-3, 6s and 9s, which are essential fatty acids for the body. Well, mindfulness, to me, in my opinion, is an essential vitamin for the brain. By being mindful is what you're doing is you're clearing a lot of negative thoughts out of your head, and you're just having a much more clarity in life. So by doing 10 minutes a day is perfect, really. It is hard. It's not easy being mindful because we're constantly thinking about things. Like you go for a walk with your dog or whatever, and you're probably thinking about your business. Oh, what have I got to do? I've got to do this, I've got to do that. But actually just trying to not think about the business and just look at the scenery, where you're walking, smell the fresh air, touch the leaves on the branch, actually feel nature. And what happens over time with repetition is you'll just start to learn to clear the thoughts out of your head and just accept the thoughts and then be present.
And now that might sound a bit out there to a lot of people who are kind of new to this concept, although I bring it up a lot. But even if you don't want to go down the in air quotes, spirituality side of it.
Yeah.
There's so much benefit, and it's proven by science as well. So if you're one of those people that is only does things if science has proved it, then there you go. There's proof as well.
100%, and that's so true. And there is scientific proof. Also, what mindfulness does is it clears that it kind of I think it builds up the grey matter in your brain. So whatever sort of brain cells you've lost, it kind of builds your brain cells back up. So there's a lot of proof for it. Again, yoga is mindfulness, meditation. But the best thing that people, with personal trainers, etc., that can do is, or just in your job in general, any sort of job you do, is just be in that moment. Just be and do it. And the more you do it, the more easy it will become.
Yeah, and not just jobs, but life. Like
life in general, man. Yeah, definitely.
As soon as you basically, in terms of me being with my girlfriend and spending that time with her,
you're being mindful.
Yeah. When neither of us are present, it's not shit, but it's not special. But as soon as you're present, and as Eckhart Tolle would say, in the now, then you've got that connection between people, and you can really feel it.
And that's another good point, Tom, is relationships. It's better for your relationships. Being mindful, your partner you'll just become much more closer together, because obviously you're focusing each other's attention on each other, like you just said. So yeah.
So where did you start learning about this kind of stuff?
I kind of just learned it from a lot of books, really. I read a lot of books. I do yoga as well. So I do a form of Kundalini yoga, which is
different from Cunnilingus yoga, isn't it?
Yeah. So, so it's using you're using mantras. So you sing. You do a lot of singing, and they kind of just sort of told me about it, being mindful. And I said, "Well, what's mindfulness?" And then they explained. I was like, I never realised, and then I started reading more books about it, and kind of went from there really. And I use an app called Headspace, which is really good. I think the first 10 days are free, and then you pay whatever £7 a month. But that's a really great way to get going as well. And also, I do a lot of colouring, and people think, "What? You're a bit childish," but actually, colouring in a book is a really great way again to just be present in the moment.
It's awesome.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So, Ruby Wax is a big believer in colouring books for mindfulness.
That's cool.
Yeah, she's a massive believer in it. So, yeah, it's great.
Sweet. How have you found Headspace? Because, personally for me, it was really good for the first 2 or 3 months of this kind of mindfulness journey, if you want to call it that. But after that, it kind of not got repetitive, but I think I wasn't present anymore because I knew what and good old Andy Puddicombe was going to say. What's your thoughts? You can disagree.
That's a good point. With mindfulness, what you need to do is, I was told by a teacher, is find something that you're good at. Now, some people enjoy meditating, some people colouring with books. It's just about finding that type of mindfulness practice that you enjoy. That's all it's doing. A great one. I used to be a chef, so I didn't realise, but I couldn't be any more mindful, because when I'm cooking the food, I'm smelling it, I'm tasting it. I didn't even realise. So I now cook. I try and cook as much as I can now, because I just love it. I get so engrossed by it, and that is my mindfulness meditation.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
How did I come across Headspace? I think a friend of mine told me about it. I can't remember now. Ages ago, and it's only sort of since the last sort of 2-3 months that I've kind of been using it. And again, I know what you mean with the meditation and that. It does get a little bit repetitive, so you do need to find other ways to be mindful. But you can be mindful in everything. Anything you do, and anything that you're present at, you're being mindful.
Bingo. It can be in any area of life.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go on a bit of a detour quickly. You mentioned you did yoga quickly.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on doing yoga, and B, could you elaborate on the rest of your training?
Yeah, yoga. See, okay. Well, the reason I got shown yoga was I I do. Exercise in itself, as you know, creates a lot of cortisol in the body. So, obviously, the more you exercise, the more cortisol and stress hormones you can have in the body. So, yoga. Why I do yoga is to balance. It's all about having a balance. It's about yin and yang. So I do a yoga a couple of times a week because what it does is it kind of balances me and keeps me centered and keeps any sort of stress hormones away. So what I do sometimes before I do my boxing training, I do yoga. Everyone looks at me like, what the hell are you doing? But it's really beneficial because it slows you down. So when you do the exercise itself, you're not like 100% adrenaline and then you burn out. So you actually can train for longer by doing. If you did yoga before an exercise, you can train for much longer. So obviously your mobility is better. Your movement and all your movement patterns are much more efficient and better. But yeah, yoga in itself, there are so many different types of yoga. There's hatha yoga, which is probably the most popular one, which is mainly doing a lot of sort of stretching exercises. You do breathing as well. But my favourite is obviously Kundalini, where you're actually you're singing. Because I've got told I've got a really deep voice, so we do like sort of singing in it, and it's great. And there's also laughing yoga where you just laugh,
Sweet.
Which is an interesting one. There's hot yoga.
Yep.
And hot yoga is a good one to do because obviously yoga originates from India, and obviously India is a very hot, clammy place to be. So obviously what they're doing is they're kind of improvising, and you kind of sit in this sort of steam room where it's kind of mimicking the same temperatures of India. So that's why it's called hot yoga.
Is that the same as Bikram yoga? Is that the same thing?
Bikram, I don't know. I'm not the expert on yoga. I'm still learning about yoga. But a lot of yoga comes from hatha yoga. So it'll kind of sense there. But I'm not the expert on that.
Okay, cool. I just I think I've seen it around, and my mind's picked it up. And you missed out the other half of my question. What's the rest of your training look like?
My training, what do I do?
Yes.
Yeah, my training, I do a lot of gymnastic ring training.
Nice.
So it's using body weight, and I don't want to spend hours in the gym. So I need a workout that's quick, easy, and it's just completely compound movements. So I find I use gymnastic rings. Brilliant. I mean, the first time you use them, your body's in bits for like weeks. You're like, you can't, because it affects completely all your neuromuscular body. So yeah, my training is gymnastic ring training. It's the best form of training, in my opinion. It's like CrossFit. It's very similar to CrossFit, isn't it? They kind of have that in there. In their training.
It's an element of CrossFit,
yeah, that's right, yeah. So that's what I mainly do, because I don't want to spend too long in the gym. I want to get out and do my own thing and get crack on with my business, do you know what I mean? And I need something quick and easy that's going to get me the best results.
And they're utterly transportable as well. If I was going to travel the world now, I would just pack a pair of gymnastics rings and a jump rope.
Yeah. See, I bought some £20 Pella, I think they're called Pella, from Amazon. So if I'm out and about walking my dog, I think, I'll take my rings with me. And then I find a tree, like an oak tree, because they're nice and strong. So I had a branch and and I just put the rings up, have a quick train, job done. So yeah, you can transport them anywhere. You've got TRXs, but TRXs are not as good as gym rings.
No, they're not as versatile, are they?
Yeah, they're great. They're good if you're in a hotel, possibly. You could use the door anchor, but gym rings are better. They're cheaper, and they're just unique, really. You can do everything. Yeah,
and the other thing, have you ever seen the body of a gymnast? That's a pretty good target to get to.
Oh, of course, yeah. They are literally ripped.
Yes,
unbelievably ripped. They are so wow. I mean, they because the great, gymnastic rings, you're using every single muscle in your body. You're using every tendon, every fibre in your body. So so overall, you're going to develop much bigger, much more defined muscle. Do you know what I mean? So I don't want, if bodybuilders out there, get on the gym rings. Trust me, get on the gym rings. It's hard, yes, but the more you do it, the more it will get easier.
Yeah, I think that's why people shy away from them, actually, because they're quite humbling. They're difficult. And one of the reasons that I really like them is because they move, so you've got to try and create torque in your own body and stability in the joints without that external force to create torque against. You've got to be able to create that yourself. So winding up that joint capsule, and in terms of mobility as well, they're just awesome. They're really good bits of kit.
Yeah, they're brilliant. I recommend anyone to get them, but I also say to them, people, you must respect the rings because you can injure yourself.
Always respect your ring, Eddie. Always respect your ring.
But it's true though, man. You've got to respect the gym rings because I've damaged my rotator cuff on the gym rings before, and I was out for like 8 weeks because I didn't stretch properly afterwards. I didn't warm up before. You've really got to make sure, and also you for a fact you've got to make sure you're eating really good food. Because you can injure yourself. They're very easy. You easily injure yourself on them. So yeah, just respect the gym rings, not the ring.
So, can we take it back to mindset a bit? Is there anything like that you believe is a really big component aside from mindfulness about getting your head in the right space?
Well. The best thing you can do is the morning. You get up in the morning, get your head right. So this is what I do in the morning. I literally get up and wake up in the morning. I do a 10-minute headspace. That's it, right. My head's cleared. I know what to do. I do my stretching. I do my massage on the trigger point foam roller. Get myself ready. I write my to-do list of what I need to do, and then I'll go from there.
Yes.
So that's a great way, I think, in my opinion, just to boost it. It's really simple. Do you know what I mean? So do little steps.
I love that. That's good. Like, you're embodying the discipline equals freedom mentality. That's sweet. Like, you get your morning routine squared away, and the rest of your day is so much easier, and you're in the right mind space.
And that's so true. Yeah, and it is. And I learned that off. I think Liam told me that.
Yeah.
And it's good though. I mean, so, and then you can do all your other bits and pieces you need to do. So, breakfast, whatever.
Are there any other routines that you have that help you out? Maybe pre-bed routine is a big one for me as well. But is there anything for you?
Yeah, what I do is I have, sometimes in my day, I have a time where I'm allowed to, think about stuff. Like, what I do is... I call it a worry hour. So if I need to worry about anything, I give myself an hour to worry, what have I got to do? And then I go, right, and then what I do is I get myself present again. I go, right, okay. And then and I just find I rationalise better by doing that.
Okay.
So it's quite interesting. I learned it from a psychologist. So just have a sort of worry hour, worry about something, but only have 1 hour in the day where you just worry. And what it does is it teaches your brain to stop worrying about stuff that you shouldn't be worrying about.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's really interesting, but it's a good way to kind of... So you're only having, a certain part of your day where you just worry about silly things. Really.
So are you doing anything else during that time?
Yeah, well, obviously that time, it depends on my day. So obviously I'll be training clients. I'll probably be going to the gym. It just depends on what I've got to do that day. I mean, a lot of the time I'm literally just focusing on my business, really. So looking at different ways of getting lead generation, different sort of things. At the moment, I am setting up different referrals. So I'm doing a GP referral qualification within the stroke rehab. So I'm doing that as well. So. And also read books is a great thing to do. Read as many books as you possibly can, but don't just read them. Be present in them and absorb all the information you can get from them.
Exactly.
So don't just read any old book. I like to read books that I'm going to get a lot out of.
Yeah.
So a book that I'm reading at the moment that I do recommend, it's called The 50th Law, and it's by Robert Greene and 50 Cent, and it is an awesome book. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it. it's like you think, what, hip hop? But actually, the 50 Cent is like, he's an entrepreneurial god. What he's done is just unreal.
Didn't he have some sort of water business at one point?
Yeah, vitamin water. I don't know why. I think he may have sold it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy is. It's weird. He's got so much respect as well in the entrepreneurial world. He come from, obviously, he was a gangster. He used to sell crack when he was a child, but he's become this entrepreneurial beast of a man, and he's got so much respect in the world now.
Yeah.
Business-wise, the guy knows his stuff. He really does.
So there we go. If you're struggling, join a gang. Nice.
Sell crack. No, don't.
Yeah,
don't.
What you said there, it's the perfect thing to say.
Delete that one out of the podcast.
No way. So what you said there about reading loads of books, education is a key component of changing your belief systems. And that's something that I read in Tony Robbins' book, Unlimited Power. And that's
a great, that's cool.
You just got to go through with a highlighter, and that's something I've changed recently with educating myself. If I'm not taking notes on it, it's just going in one ear and out the other. So you got to sit down and, as you said, actually be immersed in it and be present with it.
That's right, man. Yeah, because a lot of people just read books, and they think, and you go, well, what happened in the book? I don't know. Well, you didn't read the book then, did you?
Yeah, and again, it's back to being present and in the now and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely, yeah. Books is you can learn so much from books. If you don't like reading books, there's like Audible. So Audible, if you've got an Amazon account, just get. I think if you sign up, I think you get like 3 books free per month. I think or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it depends.
But they do really good deals, don't they? So
yeah. What other books have you?
Oh God, I've
changed your life.
I'm fascinated with the brain. So I've got one about. Change your brain, change your life.
Okay.
So, and it has like literally like an index of different things that you can do to help your brain.
In what regard?
Which is really mad. I mean, I'm literally just fascinated in it. That's a really in-depth. That's a book where you look at something, you put it down, and then if something else comes in your brain, comes up in your head, it's one you just kind of keep looking back to all the time. Because there's just so much information in there, it's ridiculous. It's like a sort of doctor's Bible, pretty much. It's mental. I'm not a doctor.
Yet.
Another book is, I think it's a guy, it's by a medical doctor called Dharma something. And he practices yoga. And he's created this book where it's called, I think it's Food for Medicine or something. And it's all amazing, the best food that you can have that's going to benefit your yoga and everything in all your life. And that's a really good book. And there's a lot I've learnt from there. Like a really basic smoothie, like you've made from tomatoes, celery, lettuce, and I think apple. And what it does is it actually gets rid of a lot of cortisol in your body. I thought, I never knew that.
Nice.
I didn't even know that. I was just like simple little things like that. So that's a book that I kind of like look to. I put down quite a lot because again, there's a lot of information. Another book that I'm reading is called The Happiness Trap.
Yeah.
The Happiness Trap. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Nope.
A guy called Dr. Russ Harris, who's a medical doctor. He was crippled with anxiety really badly. It affected his job. He was a GP at the time. And then he just found a way of coping with anxiety and depression. And the best way, he says, is accept it. Don't try and control it. Don't try and manipulate it. Just accept it. And again, be mindful and be present. And it will disappear. And it's just like a great book. Again, it's taken me a long time to read because it gives you a lot of exercises to do on there. So that's a really good book. Yeah. So the ones that I'm reading at the moment are the 50th Law and the Happiness Trap.
Nice.
I've got loads of books that Liam gave to me.
Yeah.
I haven't even read yet. I've got so many. I think one's called The Big Leap.
Hugh lent me a copy of that. It's meant to be very good.
Is it good? Is it?
Yeah. I'll have to get on it.
There you go. So, like I say, there's loads. Like I say, if you don't like reading, just listen to an Audible or something.
Yeah, or podcasts. If you're listening to this is a great way to get the knowledge in you.
It is.
I hate to say it, but there are very good podcasts aside from mine. for example, if you're going to be on this is a great plug for myself. Actually, I didn't even mean to do it. If you're looking to get into nutrition and like a kind of a really good overarching view of health, Ben Coomber's podcast is excellent, of which my episode has just been released. It'll be about a week ago.
Sweet, man, sweet.
And there's Ben Greenfield if you're a super training nerd. But my favourite one at the moment, you might like this, Ed, is the Jocko Willink podcast. Jocko Willink was a Navy SEAL commander, and he served in Iraq multiple times. And honestly, like the mindset lessons from that are insane.
Wow, that's awesome. He was a Navy SEAL
commander. So basically, he was an officer.
Oh my god! Yeah, wow,
that's a pretty cool. Like, that's a really really cool podcast actually.
Yeah, that's wicked. I have to listen to that. That sounds
anyway,
awesome.
Just make sure everyone listens to mine. that's the
definitely.
thing.
Tom is first.
Yes, always Tom is first. Okay, so now we've gone on a big sidetrack. Can we come back to? Well, actually, I want to ask you what your view on spirituality is, and that's a huge question.
Yeah, that is a massive question. Spirituality is about being true to yourself. It's about being honest. It's about being caring to yourself and others. Spirituality it's not religion. You kind of, I mean, I have angels that I kind of like pray to. So my angel is Archangel Michael. So if I ever have like a day when I'm struggling, I'll pray, I'll close my eyes and I'll pray to Archangel Michael. And I'll ask him like a question. I said, look, what should I be doing right now? And then it kind of like, and then what I also do is I do like a sort of like a card reading. They're called oracle cards. So you can get them on Amazon. There are millions and millions of different types. So I do the question, I do a card reading, and then a card will pop out that I'm drawn to, and it will give me a sort of like a task to do for the day.
Okay.
And it's really great. It's really good.
So
it kind of,
playing devil's advocate now, what would you what would you say to the people who are ready to switch off right now?
Who are ready to switch off?
Yeah,
what do you mean?
Just from mentioning card reading and prayer, what would you say to them?
What would I say to them? I said, look, just believe, just be open. Spirituality is about being open. So it's about trying things out. It's obviously, I mean, it's still a lot of people. I think a lot of people get spirituality mixed up with religion and God and everything, and that's fine. The God, you are both the God and you are both the devil. There, in my view, there is no God. You are the highest self of who you can be, whether that's God, or the lowest self of you can be, and whether that's the devil. So, people out there, understanding spirituality, just be the best thing to do to be spiritual. To be spiritual is to be open, to be caring, to be honest, to be genuine to both yourself and others that you come across.
Nice. I like that. That's a good definition. What I like there is you said it's not religious. Sorry, and I think as soon as your thoughts are set, this is what we as a group believe, I think that's very limiting.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, I have nothing against religion whatsoever. I mean, I have been baptised, but I just don't believe in one God. I believe that we are the gods, and that's just my belief. I have nothing against religion, but I do have an opinion that religion is bad.
Okay. Why's
religion, that? I just feel that sometimes, religions, if you think about it, a lot of religion has kind of been mixed up in wars.
Yeah.
It's created a lot of wars, and it really has, in terms of the IS and everything, who they believe in. And again, I don't want to go too deep.
No, that's fine.
But religion is just not for me. Yeah. I choose the path of spirituality, the best I possibly can.
Cool, sweet. So I think your answer to what is spirituality is going to be very close to what do you think it means to be alpha?
Definitely. I mean, yeah. And again, my take on alpha is about being vulnerable. Now, what's vulnerability? Vulnerability is about being honest, about being open. It's about being confident in yourself, which is alpha, which is that alpha type person. It's about being genuine.
Okay.
So vulnerability is, because a lot of people think alpha is all about alpha male. It's not really. That's a misinterpretation of alpha male. I mean, alpha male to me is about being vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's about, you know what I mean?
Which seems like almost like a dichotomy to people. But
Yes.
I think I'll keep on saying it because I do believe it, but a lot of people confuse being alpha with being a dick. And
Yes, they do, yeah.
It's not that at all.
And it's not that at all, no. It's not. It's about being really confident, of course, about being confident in yourself. But I think alpha is also about being a leader. And we do need leaders. People need leaders. We need people to guide us and help us. And alpha is a great way. An alpha person is someone who's great to kind of teach you that. So that an alpha is someone who could be a mentor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Before we get into like the 4 questions that or the remainder of the 4 questions that I ask everyone, is there anything that you'd like to get across through this platform?
I think that the main thing is like put things in perspective, be grateful for what you've got, and then go from there. So don't. I was a bad. I used to do this. I used to, oh God, I want this, I want that, I want this and that, and then I'd stress about a lot of things. Just be grateful for what you've got, put things in perspective, and then go from there. The best thing to do.
I've just realised we've actually covered quite a few of the questions. For example, what is the most important book you've ever read? You have mentioned what you're reading now.
Oh wow,
okay.
The most
huge
important
question.
book. The most. Do you know what? The most moving book I've ever read was a book called A Lion Called Christian. Okay. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No.
I think it was based in the 1970s when Harrods used to sell exotic animals to the rich.
Yeah.
And a gay couple bought a lion, and they tamed it, and amazing story. And they did everything with it. They took it in the park. It was like their pet. It was amazing. And it got to the point where the lion was getting so big that they couldn't, house it anymore. So what they had to do, it was awful. They found a what are they called? They're like lion keepers or something in Africa.
Yeah.
And they had
just as you do, you found one. Yeah. They're everywhere.
And they had to let Christian, and they called the lion Christian, go. And it was awful. And then I think what happened was, 10 years on, was it 10 years or less than that? I don't know. They came back to Africa to see how the lion, Christian was doing. They said, "Oh, he's gone." Oh no! And what happened was, this is what I can't remember. I've been reading the book for such a while, but they were walking around, and then all of a sudden, this lion approached them, and it was Christian, the lion, and the lion stopped. It saw its dad and mum, and literally jumped onto the gay couple, cuddled them, and it was just like wow, and it was just the most moving thing I've ever read, and it made me cry, and I thought, wow, that is awesome.
That's a very different story to the man who decided to live in a wolf pack for a while and then got eaten by wolves. It's a very different story to that.
Yeah, a bit of a different one. Yeah.
What do your clients and friends consider you world class at?
What me class at? What in terms of what of myself?
So what's the biggest thing you can offer?
The biggest thing that I can offer, I honestly think that I'm a very caring person, and what I do is I'm luckily, my mum and dad brought me up really well. I'm not saying other people didn't, but I was kind of taught to be very caring by my mum, and so I think the best trait that I have is that I am caring and empathetic.
Nice. That's a pretty good character trait to have.
Yeah,
and then
definitely, man.
Last question, or almost last question. What are the 3 most important things you do every day for your health?
I eat well. I eat as well as I possibly can. I do like to have a drink now and again.
Who doesn't?
Meditation.
Yep.
Eat a balanced, healthy diet, and I move a lot. So I make sure that I'm out getting fresh air. I'm sociable with my friends. I'm doing things that are fun. You know what I mean? So yeah, I suppose that they're the most I've never sort of been asked that question before. It's a good question.
No.
But yeah, that they would be the sort of 3 things that I do the most.
It's also a question I stole from another podcast.
Oh right, it's a good question, man.
Yeah.
It's like, I have to think about that.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Excellent. Where can people find out more about you, Eddie?
Yeah, they can obviously go to. Obviously, I'll put a link on the podcast. They can go to my Stroke Survivor Warriors Facebook page, and they can kind of, can see what I do there and have a look at the testimonials, have a look at the videos that I do with clients. If they're interested, really, they can go from there. So what I'll do is I'll put a link on the podcast, and then people can go from there, really.
Excellent. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. Just like from an inspiration standpoint as well, seeing what you're achieving with these people is phenomenal. Just watching the videos, and you kind of realise that, yeah, I've got it pretty easy.
Yeah, thanks, man. No, I appreciate that, man.
No, it's awesome, and thank you for any excuse to have a chat with you is a good time. So yeah, if I can,
I know, man. I'm a bit of a nightmare to get on a podcast. I do apologise.
That's all right. If I can use my podcast to chat with you for 45 minutes, I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
Yeah, boy.
Sweet. So thank you very much, dude. I really appreciate it.
No worries, man. Pleasure.
Okay, and for any of you guys who are listening in who want to find who want to find out a bit more about the Alpha Movement, you can head to facebook.com/Alpha Movement Official or alphamovement.co, and definitely download my free 21-day course. Ciao.
Thanks,
Yeah,
man.
I'd
That's
say
what it's all about. It's about being open, man. About being spiritual as much as you can. I'll say that. I'm going to go to the pub now and get wasted.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I had that on record. Oh, actually, I do. Fuck it. Yeah, that's going in.
Oh, shit.